What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including WWE in panic mode. Has Tony Khan bought out Jeff Hardy? The real reason why Jeff Hardy turned down the Hall of Fame induction is an injured star returning at Elimination Chamber. Did former WWE superstar spoil AEW debut? Will wrestling legend rest in peace? Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at WWE in panic mode over Mania. Now reports are coming in that WWE may be in panic mode over WrestleMania 38. It seems that WWE could be scrambling to find a replacement for one of its biggest matches originally scheduled for this year's show of shows. WrestleVotes reported, sources state that the spot Shane McMahon was going to have on the WrestleMania card was to be positioned near the top. Therefore, WWE now needs a new major attraction matchup outside of the titles. This goes without saying, but the WrestleMania card is still in complete flux. It's quite amazing. A rumor has it that the WWE was planning on booking Shane against Rollins at WrestleMania, or other possible opponents including Austin Theory or Bobby Lashley. While the WWE has two major matches in Lesnar vs Reigns and Rousey vs Flair, no other matches have been announced for the card, which makes the loss of the originally planned McMahon match a problem that really needs to be fixed fast. As history has shown, unplanned changes can lead to sensational surprises, such as when Kofi replaced Mustafa Ali at the 2019 Chamber, resulting in the birth of Kofi Mania. Shane's absence may turn out to be a good thing, but it's likely the WWE's only concern is to finding a strong replacement. Which match could you see happen though? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Raw draws record low rating on Sci-Fi. As bad news for Raw as the Red Brand scored its lowest rating ever since it debuted in '93. WrestleNomics' Brandon Thurston is reporting that the 7th February Raw drew an average of 1.387 million viewers on Sci-Fi, which is down from the 1.865 million viewers last week on the USA Network. However, the demographic didn't fare poorly, as the 18 to 49 demo saw the average rating to be 0.36, down from the 0.47 rating last week. This is just above the all-time low 18 to 49 demo rating of 0.35. As we noted in our previous video, Raw's temporary move from the USA Network, which is featuring coverage of the 2022 Winter Olympics, to Sci-Fi was bound to diminish the ratings, given Sci-Fi being a secondary channel. Now Raw will again air on Sci-Fi this week, but expect the ratings to bounce back when it returns to its regular home on the USA Network. Next up, Tony Khan bought Jeff Hardy out? And as fans await the big debut Tony Khan has promised for the 9th February Dynamite, fans continue to speculate that Jeff Hardy is going to be Khan's mystery man, despite the fact that Brother Nero is believed to be under a non-compete clause with the WWE. However, what if he's not? Well, Matt Hardy added to the ongoing drama concerning Jeff's potential jump to AEW, commenting on his Twitch stream that, as far as an update on Jeff and what's going on, I don't think he's the guy that's coming in this Wednesday against Isaiah Cassidy. Although who knows, Tony Khan, Papa Khan's got a lot of money, maybe he bought out his contract and maybe it's happening early, who knows. AEW buying out Jeff's contract would be another example of wrestling's forbidden door being broken down, as it would set a precedent for other superstars with time remaining on their deals to get bought out. Do you think he's turning up on Wednesday? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, the real reason why Jeff Hardy turned down a WWE Hall of Fame induction. Speaking of Jeff, you'll likely recall the previous reports that the WWE tried to woo Hardy into returning to the WWE by offering him an induction into this year's WWE Hall of Fame. But now more details are emerging on what might have happened behind the scenes and why Jeff said no. During a recent Twitch stream, Matt Hardy revealed Jeff's conversation with the WWE about the Hall of Fame offer. Jeff asked, "So you want to induct me into the Hall of Fame?" And he said, "Well, let me ask you. I know you guys have spoken with AEW. Is this going to be the Hardy Boys? Is this myself and my brother Matt?" And they go, "Oh no, we can't get Matt. He's under contract at AEW. You know, it would just be you." And Jeff said, "Well, that's a hard no." He definitely stood up for the team of the Hardy Boys. The WWE's decision to release Jeff Hardy may have been one of the biggest blunders in recent history, especially if the Hardys reunite in AEW. Next up, AJ Styles' WrestleMania request. Now it looks like Styles is seeking out a dream match for both himself and fans at this year's Showcase of the Immortals. The two-time WWE Champion recently appeared on Ryan Satin's Out of Character podcast and revealed who he wants to battle at WrestleMania 38. Everybody has in mind the same guy that I do, Edge, and he has the same thing. Like, we have the same idea. Will it happen? That's not up to us, so we'll do what's asked of us. We hope to get the opportunity before both of us retire. As Styles recently signed a new deal with the WWE, but it's likely the 44-year-old grappling great knows that there are only a few more Mania matches left in his career. As such, is it any wonder he's tried to work with as many big names as possible, something seen when the Phenomenal One wrestled The Undertaker at WrestleMania 36's Boneyard match? However, Edge also has a limited number of Mania matches ahead of him, which means he's high in demand. With the WWE scrambling to fill Shane McMahon's spot, they would likely want to book Edge and Styles very carefully to maximize their drawing power. Next up, WWE didn't use a former champion, or was Rob Van Dam going to compete in this year's Royal Rumble? The 2021 Hall of Famer recently spoke with Sportskeeda, revealing he contacted the WWE about his availability for the show. I let them WWE know that I was available if they needed me for the Royal Rumble, and I was on standby with a brand new outfit feeling great, in a great condition. They didn't call me in, but it could happen any time. I don't have any plans for it, but I would consider any situation from any company. I'd consider it if it's right. Although wrestling's whole effing show didn't compete in the Rumble, he made it clear his wrestling career isn't over yet. So I'm not done with my career because right now I have maybe 4 or 5 matches, and these aren't matches that will be televised, by WWE or anyone that I know. RVD has worked in a variety of US promotions since his career began in 1990, including WCW, WWE, ECW, and Impact Wrestling. Where do you think he should wrestle his final matches? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Keith Lee and Mia Yim fooling the fans? Are wrestling's free agents Keith Lee and Mia Yim trying to fool the fans about the whereabouts and their availability to debut at this week's edition of Dynamite? Well, some fans think that could be the case. Wrestling News' Paul Davis looked at some recent talk on social media about posts made by the recently married Lee and Yim, noting, "Some recent posts on the accounts of Yim and Lee have led to some Twitter detectives to do some digging because it's heavily rumored that Lee and or Yim will be debuting soon on AEW Dynamite." Yim posted a photo of herself with her husband that seemingly shows them on their honeymoon. Davis discussed how fans argued that the honeymoon photo may have been taken during an August 2020 vacation. Furthermore, Yim went live on Twitch on Monday and her hair color was blue and she appeared to be back home. Davis pointed out how a tweet from a fan pointing out that Yim had her nails painted blue for her wedding but they are purple in the honeymoon photos. If Lee and or Yim are trying to work the fans, they're either doing an awful job or just trying to pull off a publicity stunt aimed at getting more fans to talk about AEW Dynamite's debut. Next up, an injured WWE star returning at Elimination Chamber. Is Bayley going to be the 6th competitor in the Women's Elimination Chamber match being held to determine the #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship? Well, fans are asking this after the WWE tweeted a photo of the 5 known opponents, Rhea Ripley, Doudrop, Liv Morgan, Nikki Ash and Bianca Belair, and Bayley replied with a leg emoji. Bayley has been out of action since suffering a torn ACL last summer, but according to Meltzer, she should be back for WrestleMania 38. Next up, did former WWE superstars spoil the AEW debut? Now fans can add Killer Kross, aka former superstar Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux to the list of potential wrestlers who will debut on this week's edition of Dynamite. WrestleTalk's Amanda Savage recently reported, at a fan signing, Killer Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux were caught on camera in a candid moment where the voice off-screen mentions heading to Atlantic City, the location of this Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite. Bordeaux says, "Oh, is it that?" After which Kross shoots her a look, shakes his head and starts repeatedly saying, while they both nervously attempt to laugh it off. Again, they could be just working the fans, but what do you think? Are they debuting on Dynamite this week? And finally, a wrestling legend rest in peace. A sad news to report as former AEW Women's Champion Candy Devine, aka Candice Rommel, has passed away at the age of 63. Devine was a featured player in AEW's women's division in the 80s, including an AEW women's title reign after defeating Judy Martin. Devine later worked on the indie circuit, appearing in the Ladies Professional Wrestling Association and Herb Abrams' UWF. Female wrestler Bonnie Marie posted the news of her death via Facebook. "It is with great sadness Candy Devine passed away this morning. We've lost a great friend and heaven gained a beautiful angel. Now we'd like to send our heartfelt condolences to Candy Devine's fans, friends and family." Well, there you have it guys, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.